Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin. Welcome back to my channel. So the other day we were working in this area behind me doing a little bit of a transformation, and today we are going to do part 2 of working on this area a little bit more. So let me give you a little recap of what we completed last time. We put in 3 silver lady ferns, we moved some hellebores, right in this area here, and then we put in 2 silver lady ferns on the garage wall right there, and again some more hellebores. I also added in a ring, added to the ring of mondo grass that we have in this front area as well. I'll just put a little bit of, roll the tapes a little bit on the screen here of what it looked like when we were finished. So now today, what we are going to do is add some more mondo grass. I have dug up some Surefire begonias from another area of the garden. We have a fountain that we call the Buddha fountain. It's really just kind of got a, like a Buddhist looking face on it. And we had a few Surefire begonias over there, a number of different things over there, and none of it's really doing too well. Nothing's really ever done too well over there. It's been kind of a problem area of the garden, honestly. So I'm going to be digging up some of the plants that are over there, including the Surefire begonias. I'm going to pull the Surefire begonias and move them over to this area to be able to continue working on the plans that I have over here for those. There's some alstroemeria in here that I never really liked in this spot, and so I'm going to be digging that out, and I'm going to temporarily place it in the place of the Surefire begonias over by the Buddha fountain, because that's kind of like the holding place for plants that we're not sure what exactly we want to do with, because that area is just, it's just still under renovation and under kind of imagination of what's going to be the right thing for that spot. Then I have the Carex Feather Falls that we got when we were at H&H. I have 2 of these. I decided that I'm going to place these in this bed. Originally, I was thinking about putting them in pots, which maybe I can get my hands on some more and do that as well. But I really like the texture in here with the ferns, so we're going to place those in there. And I have this, let's see if I can reach it, this iris here that we're going to plant up. It's a really pretty peachy color. We're going to plant that in there, adding in some more delphiniums, and then we're going to plant up the pot with the wisteria. And I think that's going to do it for the day, but let's get started and we'll see what else we can get accomplished. So here are the Surefire begonias that we are going to place over in this area. So you can kind of see the plan here for this spot. Let's talk it over a little bit. So my plan is to, let's go over here first actually, is to take the Surefires and continue them on in this direction all the way up until the gate in a straight line just behind the mondo grass here. And then I'd like to have them ring around the back, I think, of the fountain here. Those I'm not going to place today because we do have some other plants in their spot, and I'm kind of going to just see how, feel out how I like the lamb's ear that we placed around the back there, the iris, the carex, and all of that that's going to go in. And then what I'll do with the remainder, if there are any, is bring it further out this way and see how far I can go in this direction with the remaining begonias. Now that we have all the Surefire Begonias planted up, I'm going to work on planting the Carex and the Iris. We're also going to add back some of the hellebores that we removed in the places where the Carex and the Iris went. So we lucked out the other day at Armstrong when we were down in Carlsbad at the flower fields with the Master Gardener program and found a whole bunch of proven winners Coleus. So that is the other part of our project that we're going to do, is putting all of this Coleus, well, maybe not all of it, but a lot of the Limetime right here and the Rediculous right here into this area as well. I think it's going to make a really big statement and a pop. The Limetime gets to be about 24 to 40 inches tall and about 12 to 16 inches wide. And I believe the Rediculous is about the same. Rediculous gets a little bit wider, 18 to 24 inches wide, same 24 to 40 inches tall. So we're going to put those around in this area. I love Rediculous Coleus. I've used it a bunch of times. You can probably also see my whole plant haul here. So a lot of what's behind me here is for the vegetable and cut flower garden that's right back over there. And then all of that is actually for the front yard. So those are videos to come. Be sure to check them out. But let's start placing the Rediculous and the Limetime and get to planting.
So what I plan on doing here is removing this pink jasmine and repurposing it along the back wall behind the brown tiered fountain. I will be adding star jasmine back to this area, but that is for a later video. This one's just a little bit too big and tangled to do what we're looking to do here very soon.
Alrighty, so now I am going to plant up the giant black container that has our wisteria in it. Let me show you the plants that I am planning on putting in here. So the first plant that I'm going to use is this Proven Winners Strawberry Drop Coleus. And I plan on using 3 of these in this container. And here is what the tag looks like. The spacing on this is 14 to 20 inches tall and 12 to 18 inches wide. Now, if you have used chocolate drops coleus, that one tends to get a little bit bigger in my experience. So I would probably only use 2 or so in this container if I were doing chocolate drops. But since we're using the strawberry drops, we're gonna do 3 and just kind of dot them around the front and this side here, like side, front, and then the other side. And then my hope is that it'll get big enough to where it'll kind of just meander through from the wisteria here forward and kind of just fill in as like a ground cover, if you will, of this container, as well as spilling out over the edge. The next plant that I'm going to be using is Dichondra Silver Falls, and I have 2 of these for this container. And the reason that I'm using 2 spillers is really this container is huge, so I could in theory put 5 of the Strawberry Drops Coleus in, but I really wanted to bring this bluey green color into the container to mimic the urn fountains that are right in front of it and draw that color and interest up into this container. Next, I have 3 of the Aromance Mulberry. This is a Nemesia, and I've had this for a little bit, so it's kind of looking a little sad. But I love the color on these flowers. They have like a magenta-y color fading to a purple and the little yellow eye on it. It's really nice, kind of orchidy looking, which gives a little bit of a tropical-y vibe. And those are going to be placed towards the back, closer to the actual stalks of the wisteria. So the next plant that I'm going to be using in this container, I have 3 of them, is the Limetime Coleus. And we're again mimicking what we have in the ground, bringing that interest up into this pot. So here is your tag. And this one gets 24 to 40 inches tall and about 12 to 16 inches wide. So that's why we're doing 3 in this container. It's going to be the Thriller apart from our wisteria, so it'll get pretty tall here in this container. Then our step down will be the Nemesia, and then, like I said, our spillers are our Dichondra Silver Falls and the Strawberry Drops Coleus. And the last plant is, I'm going to use this wave petunia, this purple wave petunia. And I've been told that wave petunia is similar to supertunias from Proven Winners. So I have some supertunias that I'm going to plant out in the front yard. I even have the Royal Velvet, which is basically this same color. And we're going to kind of do a tester here. So back in this container, we're going to use the wave petunia. And then in some containers out in the front yard, we're going to use the Royal Velvet Supertunia. And we'll see what the growth is like, and kind of test them against each other. And we'll report back on what we find. So it looks a little bit messy right now. I totally realize because of all of the small leaf structure. I'm tempted to take the Nemesia out. I probably will. I think that's what's kind of making it not look as tidy as I'd like it to. So yeah, let's take the Nemesia out. Other than that, I really like the color combination that we have here. So let's take the Nemesia out. We'll do something else with the Nemesia, put it in a different container. Okay, I like that so much better. These petunias here are gonna fill in all of this area. The coleus here, the strawberry drops, is gonna get nice and drapey and also spread throughout all three of these. And so we'll have a nice kind of intermingling of the strawberry drops, the petunia, and probably even the dichondra silver falls, where it'll kind of twist and intermingle into each other, and then they will all actually drape over the edge as well. And then we'll have a nice, bright, tall chartreuse here in the back. I did throw a few of the petunias along this back side here. That way, from this angle and from this angle, when you're looking at the pot, it's not completely empty. And these will grow in and kind of trail and fill in this direction too. This back area will kind of pull through the coleus as well. But overall, I like the color combination. I love that we have the pinky red here in the leaves to mimic our Rediculous Coleus and the other magenta plants that we have. And then we have our purple to mimic the purple plants that we have. We're tying in our Limetime up here to tie the Limetime that we have around this area of the bed, as well as the silver lady ferns that are a little bit more chartreuse. So overall, I think it's going to look really pretty. Okay, so the last part, or the two last parts of our project here, I want to show you the line that we're thinking of for this space as far as where the new bed is going to end or come out to. And then once we do that, then I will plant up the remaining mondo grass that we got, again, on the clearance section at the big box stores. Normally they're about 24 bucks a flat. So we got these half price, which is amazing. All of the flats that we have put in here were all on the clearance rack. Sometimes you luck out with some things that you want and they end up on the clearance rack and they're looking in great shape or pretty good shape, like these mondo grass were. So we'll chalk that up as a win. So what I'm going to do is I have landscape spray paint, and I'm going to walk you through the lines that we're thinking of for this bed. And then right along that edge, we'll plant up the mondo grass. Okay, so I'm going to start over at the gate here. We're going to keep this line going as it is. I'm not going to put the spray paint on here because our mondo grass is our line. And so we're going to just walk this all the way until where our mondo grass ends here. And now I'm going to spray the line that we're thinking of doing. Okay, so stepping stones will then come this direction here, and we'll keep creating our stepping stones. This green line right here is where, and these striations that I've made is all where we're going to redo the grass, which I'll talk about in a moment. But we'll put in more stepping stones here, and we'll either have some form of ground cover or rock or something along those lines in between each of the stepping stones. That way it's not dirt. So let's get our last stepping stones here. And then I'm probably going to keep this heart stepping stone here. I kind of think it's cute. I might not. I don't know. We'll see. But then the bed itself in this spot is going to come around and hug this mandevilla and go something like that. So all right here will be kind of low plants. We're going to redo this planter area right here a little bit, probably adding in some of the Rediculous Coleus behind to tie everything in. But that's essentially what this area is going to turn into, is a little bit of a nice little meandering path with stepping stones. So we got almost our entire path here of Mondo grass completed. I have probably another 24 or so inches to go. You can see it from right here to about right there, which is less than a flat. So hopefully we can find some more on sale, and then we'll continue on with our Surefire begonias all the way to right there as well, and then fill in the rest of this space with some pretty things. I'm thinking I will probably put right here ish and azalea from Nuccio's. I've also got a little lime punch hydrangea that I'm thinking I might pop right about there. That'll look really pretty and be perfect, because you can see we're at about 5 o'clock and it's still getting sun right there, so that'll be great. But I'm loving how this is turning out. I think it's really starting to come together very, very nicely. Now, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is that pathway that we were talking about, and kind of how it looks like there's grass in this area. And that's because there is grass and it hasn't done well. And our grass in general hasn't done well. And that is because when we were designing this yard, we took the advice of the person that was helping us out with kind of the manual labor, and that was installing the grass and installing the irrigation systems and all of that. And that person typically has done smaller yards with much smaller grass patches. And so their suggestion was to do an underground drip system in the grass, as well as doing drip irrigation in the beds. So through this experience, we have learned that for this type of yard, a drip irrigation system in the grass just doesn't work. And it doesn't work for a variety of reasons. Number one, maintenance is a complete and utter pain. You can't see where things are broken. You can't see where things are plugged. And it's just a nightmare from that perspective. Number two is this area is too large for that type of system. You're actually much better off with sprinklers for this type of space. A drip system for your grass works great for like a parkway, because it is actually much more efficient for water, because you're not going to have overspray. With a larger yard, you don't have to worry about that as much with sprinklers, because you have the space to put in a sprinkler system and have it spray off, and it's not going to be like getting on concrete and sidewalks and all of that stuff. So the next part of it is this yard has so many different microclimates in it due to sun and shade conditions. So where I'm sitting right now can range very greatly from in the summertime being so much sun to being like mostly shade in the winter. And then there's other pockets of the yard that are pretty much shade all day long. And then there's other pockets of the yard that are sun all day long. And so it's really difficult to get the right water requirements for each section when you have an underground drip system. A overhead sprinkler system is a whole lot better for the varying microclimates that you have in a yard like this. So with all of that said, it is very likely, and by very likely I mean pretty much guaranteed, that what we're going to do is tear up the entirety of the grass, put in a legitimate sprinkler system, and reseed grass. What I'd really like to do, but is very expensive, is putting in turf, because I'd like to just keep the water bill to the planter bed areas, but we'll see if we can swing that. None of that is going to happen until at least this fall into this winter, because we've got enough things that we're working on in terms of projects in the planter beds, and the grass looks nice in most spots during the summer. So we're going to kind of just keep things status quo with that, and really just hone in our focus on the different planter beds, but with the idea in mind that we'll either tear up the grass, put in a new sprinkler system and reseed, or tear up the grass, put in turf, and forget the irrigation system in the grass area altogether. So there you have it. That's part 2 of our transformation of this area. It's going to come in iterations, as most gardens do. We'll probably have a part 3 and a part 4 when we add in the walkway and add in more plants. But this was kind of just adding to, reinvigorating this space and really making it a little bit more cohesive and tightened up and buttoned up, and I'm really liking how it's turning out. We have got so many more plants to add to this area. There is still so much in the way of space that can be planted, especially along this area right here along the garage wall. We have a special project in the works for the garage wall specifically, so stay tuned for that. My hint to you is that it involves pink star jasmine and some fun shapes. So with that, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope that it brought you some inspiration. Hope you enjoyed the look at what we're doing in the garden here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what your favorites are in terms of what we planted, what tropical plants you like, things that you'd like to see me plant in this garden. Let me know in the comments down below. I have a bunch of ideas, but I want to know from you what things that you want to see. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.